Hello, and welcome to Dolphin's Dive, the weekly strategically minded Handelabra stream hosted by Logic Dolphin. Handelabra believes in civil rights for everyone and being as inclusive as possible, so any comments or activity actively work against those goals are not welcome and will not be tolerated. And with that, let's begin. We have finished our scenarios. We've done all the scenarios. Yay, game over. But I had a random idea for an archipelago map. This is archipelago? I forget what it is. This situation where we have two island boards that are separated by an ocean or river or something. But what if we do it twice over and have this really long board? And that's where we're at today. It's a 4-spirit game. This might take 4 hours. I don't know. But let's just go with it. We don't have a scenario anymore. It's just the adversary. And for good measure, I threw in all of the new aspects and spirits that, well, spirit singular, that is provided with the newest Nature Incarnate phased release. So we get to play around with these a little more. If you missed our stream from last week, John and I played through 2 different games, and we showed all of these spirits across those 2 games. But here it's in 1 game, so we'll see how it goes. Yeah, so we have Haven River. I think for the sake of time, I'm not going to read every single small detail as I normally do. But the change with Haven River is that our innate power is replaced with Call to a Sunlit Haven, where the effects are based on the highest uncovered number on your energy track, which defends greater, gathers more Dahan, and removes more health worth of invaders. The elemental thresholds are surprisingly low, but I guess that means you don't need as many cards to hit these as you need energy to make these effects better, which certainly changes the way that you approach River. We have Mentor, Shifting Memory of Ages, where the difference is that instead of discarding a power, instead of forgetting, we have this Past Teaching Spring Forth Unbidden, where when you gain power cards, normally you just draw 2 cards and gain both now. Draw 2 fewer and gain 1 more, which is normally now draw 2 and gain both. When gaining a major power, you can only forget 1. So you're going to have 1,000,000 cards in hand. But with Share Mentorship and Expertise, we now get to gift other spirits power cards based on what we have in our hand. So with certain thresholds, Spirit may even play the power, may repeat the power by paying its cost. But in any case, we get to gift spirits the powers that we are randomly given. And also element markers, which is, of course, Shifting the Memories of Ages shtick. Let's talk about the spirit in a second. We have Rampant Green Regrowth, which replaces one of the special rules where we could place Destroyed Presence down using our growth. We don't have that option anymore. We also lost the innate power that grants defense. Instead, we have Unbelievable Growth, which allows us to place Destroyed Presence down in the slow phase. And we also have way more Destroyed Presence than normal. We have an extra 13 Destroyed Presences because that's part of the special rules. We take 13 Destroyed Presence. We just do that. So, yeah, that's Regrowth Green. Same powers, not innate powers, but same powers, so proliferation exists. And we have this new spirit, Towering Roots of the Jungle, which has an Incarna. 3 presence on the starting board in 3 different lands, Incarna in the jungle with your presence. Some of your actions add vitality tokens, which prevents blight from being added in a land with no blight. And that is important, as if you place it in a land with blight, blight still happens. But with no blight, it doesn't happen. Kind of acts similarly to wilds and disease in that it prevents a certain action, but in this case it's only preventing blight in unblighted lands. We have an Incarna. Powers get +1 range if Incarna is in the origin land. Invaders, Dahan, and beasts can't be damaged or destroyed at Incarna. We empower Incarna the first time it's the land with 3 or more vitality tokens, and we skip all build actions at empowered Incarna. So that allows us to prevent builds, which is nice. We can add vitality at my Incarna using growth option 2. And sometimes with blooming of the rocks and trees. Looks like that's the only two way that vitality tokens get added. So we have to kind of like build it up in order to empower the Incarna, and the empowered effect is that we skip all build actions there. Growth options allows for gathers of Dahan, explorers, towns, and cities, which is really powerful, as well as removal of buildings, explorers, or the explore towns, and then just an invader. So flat out remove an invader. Anytime something says an invader, blah, 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 it's really powerful as it can target cities. Energy track, or presence track, gets us Earth, Sun, Plant, 6 energy, 4 card plays. And we're always placing presence down, always be growing. So that's cool. Power cards are on the last 2 growth options, which is interesting. All right, that's that. And the adversary was randomly chosen to be Habsburg Monarchy. Additional loss condition, irreparable damage. Track how many blight come off the blight card during ravages that do 8+ damage to the land. If that number ever exceeds players, the invaders win. Escalation, seek prime territory. After exploring on each board with 4 or fewer blight, add town to a land without towns or blight. On each board with 2 or fewer blight, do so again. So you're kind of rewarded for having more blight on your land. On your board, whatever. Migratory herders. After the normal build step in each land matching a build card, gather a town from a land not matching a build card. More rural than urban. During setup on each board, add a town to land 2 and a town to the highest numbered land without setup symbols. During play, when invaders would build city in an inland land, they instead build 2 towns. And fast spread, when making the invader deck, remove an additional stage 1 card, so the deck order is 1-1, 2-2, 2-2, 3-3, 3-3-3. So, yeah. Kind of more setup things than otherwise. I mean, we have migratory herders that's going to affect us the entire game. Inland town builds instead of city builds. And the escalation is adding lots of towns. So something towns. Okay. Yeah, so I believe the rules of having island set up like this is that you can't pay energy to target another spirit unless they're on the same board as you, I think. But let's double check. I mean, you can if you spent energy, is what I mean. So, like, but it's dependent on the number of sections. But I do need to, like, double check that in the rules, which I can't get into unless I start the game. So let's start the game. And boy, are we horizontal. Oh boy, are we horizontal. Okay. Yeah, I wanted to double check how to play for that. Where does it mention it? 2 adversaries, extra island board, spirit panels. Where would it talk about? The arrange. No? First time players. Oh yes, absolutely over here. Extra island board. Archipelagos. Alright, there we go. Spirit targeting powers work normally with targeting a spirit that shares an islet with you. Target a spirit with whom you don't share an islet costs 1 energy per ocean jump you have to make, paid when the power is used. Okay. And also, coastal lands on boards with facing oceans are considered to range 2 away from each other. The oceans proper are not lands or in play unless something else makes them so. Even then, facing oceans are still range 2 from each other. Okay, so like if I am in C2 and I want to target H2, that is range 2. And if I am a spirit on this islet and I want to target a spirit on this islet, then you have to spend 1 energy to do so. And if I'm on the leftmost islet, I don't even know if that's the right pronunciation. If I'm on this left board and I want to target the spirit on the right board, and we don't have any presence on the middle boards, just presence there and presence here, that is going to cost 2 energy for me to target. So if green, for instance, says, hey, I'm going to proliferate river, he has to spend 2 energy to do so. So, very interesting. We are kind of incentivized to try to place presence on all of these board sections just so that we can target each other more easily and also avoid range issues. But it's going to be very hard for River to go from all the way to left to the right, so we have to kind of plan this out. Planning. Something I'm bad at. Let's just take this board by board, I guess, but before I forget, let's change the playmat. Because I tend to forget to do this at the start of each game, but I like to do that. Alright, we are now on a wooden table. Neat. Alright, board B. What is board B doing? Building in mountains and mountains. And bear in mind that irreparable damage is a thing, so B2 is dealing 6 damage. If we say this ravage is okay, that's fine. It's not going to cause us a loss. But if they were to build with this, like if they were to do the build with that disease for whatever reason, they would build a town, they would deal 8 damage, and that would count towards our loss condition. I say that because I'm probably just going to let B2 blight, because there's nothing in there, but it is worth pointing out. B7 is building, and is building a town, and kind of hard to prevent. Could we do something about it? Green always places a presence, range 2 jungle wetland, but sometimes adds an extra presence if we go for the plus card play option, which could be worthwhile. We also get to place a lot of destroyed presence down, but only targeting jungle wetlands unless we hit the elemental threshold for targeting any terrain. But in any case, how do we want to deal with, say, B7? We don't have defend anymore. Defend is gone. Which means that pushing Dahan is not really that ideal unless we were to luck upon a power card that helps a lot. But I'm probably inclined to pick middle growth option so I can play 2 cards this turn, and then growth option 3 to play 2 cards the next turn is probably what I want to do. Also get innate energy, which could be good. Proliferation would be a nice thing to do, except I'm not going to have energy. So maybe I'm doing Fields Choked and Stem the Flow? Is that stupid? We're not going to have thresholds for placing Destroyed Presence. I'm not going to have any moons, so we're not dealing any meaningful damage, so that seems kind of bad. Maybe I need to revisit what I just said. If I click middle growth option, I can get 1 energy and 2 card plays. I spend 1 energy playing Gift of Proliferation, but I can't target another spirit as I don't have energy to do so. Unless maybe this spirit could cross the board. It is possible. I can do that with growth option 3. So maybe I should table green for a second and think more about this guy. This guy being Towering Roots of the Jungle. So again, mountains builds. And obviously D5 is a problematic build. D8 has our presence. They're building 2 towns in there, right? Yeah. That's 7 damage. If we were to put a vitality down, then that would be okay, as we could let that ravage happen. It wouldn't destroy anything, as the vitality prevents blight from being added. But note that this is range 1 sacred site, and I don't have a sacred site there. Especially if I'm clicking growth option 3 to cross the gap. I could also replace it in presence with my Incarna, but that's not really going to be super helpful, as I still won't have a sacred site in D8. This Incarna counts as a presence, or rather, may count as a presence. Which isn't going to be helpful if I replace this presence with Incarna and it still counts as a presence. Um, However, there's another interesting workaround. Target spirit may add destroyed presence to one of your lands. You know who has a lot of destroyed presence? Rampant Green. So if I were to target Rampant Green with this, I'd have to spend 1 energy. But I could get Rampant Green on this board, and then... Oh, but this is slow. Proliferation is fast. That's the issue, is we're trying to do something fast, and it's not gonna work. But it would get green on my board. I suppose I could try to get River on this board as well, and then we don't have to worry about distances anymore. But... it's kind of interesting. I can't really move my Incarna other than replacing. This Incarna is kind of rooted. Rooted. Get it? It's kind of rooted. Ha. Anyway, Rampant and Hallowed Grove. Oh, the other thing I totally forgot about is that we're gathering towns. After the normal build step in each land matching a build card, gather a town from a land not matching the build card. So this B7 is going to have a town added to it. B2 doesn't have a neighboring town. D5 has neighboring towns. So even if I prevent this build, they're still going to gather a town in. And if they do build, it's going to be 2 towns in there. And D8 is also going to gather from D7 unless D7 is gathered into D5, which is possible. Although C could take that, actually. Because it goes by land and... by board and land number, so C goes before D. Well, anyway. If I were to... I can't put Vitality into D5, so it won't prevent the Ravage. Removing an invader with health, blah, 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 is not that helpful, as I can only hit D5, or remove the Explorer from D5. But as aforementioned, it's still going to gather a town, and we still are going to have to deal with that somehow. So I guess the question is, am I going to click growth option 3 or 2? I could spam growth option 2 and put a bunch of Incarna in D6 and eventually empower my Incarna, but that's probably not super worthwhile, especially if I wanted to bridge the gap here, as it were. Anyway, the whole reason we were even discussing this tangent was that I don't have a Sacred Site at D8 or near D8, and that was the whole reason I was even thinking about doing something different. But I think ultimately it's going to be better to just bridge this gap, I think. So let's click this and then look at a power card, and then that's going to certainly change all of our evaluations. We are interested in Sun and Plant, it looks like, as well as Earth on the left and Moon on the right. So Sun, Plant, that's Song of Sanctity, which is really interesting, as it says remove a blight from a mountain jungle, and that hits D5, which is really handy. It might be the pick. There's a Dahan at D5, which is unfortunate. We would like to consider getting rid of that Dahan or moving that Dahan, but I don't think we have very many means of moving Dahan. I guess Shelter under Tower Branches does gather. Bear in mind that Dahan cannot be damaged or destroyed at the Incarna, same as invaders. So... I think Song of Sanctity is just going to be it for the elements. Add presence range 3, so bridge the gap. B1 or B3, probably don't want to go to B2 as we'll just die. Let's go with B1. Because I think that has better visibility than B3 does. Sees the same lands, but also B5 and B6. And you may, but I may not. I could also may, but I can do that. I'll do that later. I mean, it doesn't really help with D5 as there is an Explorer in there. Although, do I have the elements for this? We don't want the defend. Potentially, that does put a thing down there. Say we do gather an Explorer. We can gather into D6 if so desired. They will still gather the town from D7 or D2. But in any case, there will be an invader present. Wait, hold on. Yeah, this needs no blight, but I can remove the blight by using Song of Sanctity. The thing about removing this blight, though, is that it's going to make it harder to avoid the escalations later. But I would also like to not have a cascade. Is that true? Do I actually want a cascade? Cascade would mean that there's 3 blight on this board, which is more than 2, so we would only get 1 escalation. All this work, and I'm just going to say I want this blight in the end, is kind of silly. We'll come back to that. But in any case, I am on this board, so now green can actually grow with this. Get the presence off the energy track, most likely. So we're not going to have the plans for unbelievable growth for a while. Unless Mentor helps, but ignoring that issue for now. We're proliferating, and then we're going to do one of these 2 things. Again, bear in mind, this is going to have 2 towns in there, so pushing 1 town is not enough. This requires a sacred site, but this requires my presence to be in the land, which is kind of a conundrum. Maybe we overgrow next turn and prevent the Ravage, thereby saving the Dawn, or maybe I just let the Ravage happen and push the Dawn out. That's another thought. Like, having some blight on these boards is probably helpful in the long run because it avoids the issue of the escalation screwing us down the road. So maybe I just say B7 Ravages and I push the Dahan out. In that case, and let the B2 Ravage happen as well. In that case, maybe I should grow into B5. I can kill the town in there. This growth pretty much has to be in a non-jungle wetland, as it's harder for me to grow into not jungle wetlands anyway. Because I can already do this growth option to get into a jungle wetland. So if I make a sacred site, I guess this one is probably a little more worthwhile as it's blighted. But proliferation and fields choked. And now, well, if I'm playing fields choked, then I'm not playing stem the flow, which was the reason I made a sacred site, but okay, well, I am dealing 1 damage, I guess. Neat. I put a sacred site here so I could use stem the flow to damage that town and finish it off with Creeper's Tear, except I'm doing Fields Choke to save this Dawn. Is that better or worse than killing a town? Well, this town isn't really doing much of anything anyway, so it's probably better in the long run. Let's table that. Move on to this board with Mentor. Mentor or Shifting Memory? Or Ages? Or of? What is the spirit's name? Comment with what you think the spirit's name is. kind of feels like we always want to click gain power card as we gain 2 random cards, and thereby are given the ability to gift them to other spirits. Now, the only spirit I can gift is kind of just roots. Roots? Yeah, just roots. This guy's roots. I can only really give the towering roots if I spend 0 energy. If I'm willing to spend energy, I could spend 1 to give it to river or to green. But energy kind of sucks right now, especially if I want to play 2 cards. So the question is kind of, do I want to just play 0 energy cards on this turn, and then starting next turn grow up the energy track? I mean, I'm clicking power card, I get 2 random cards. I could get 2 cards that both cost 1 energy, in which case I would not be able to play both of them. I would like to get to 2 card plays, is really why I want to do this. I feel like 2 card plays is pretty much the go-to for pretty much every spirit, unless you decide you want to gain a major power on turn 1 and play only that major power, but it's kind of hard to do that when you have 0 innate energy and your +9 energy doesn't give you a presence, but anyway. Or doesn't give you a power card. Elemental teachings, again, we could only really target towering roots with that, which could potentially let shelter under towering branches gather a town, could potentially let this remove an explorer or town, which certainly synergizes with gathering and then removing. But anyway, let's go ahead and do this. Let's gamble. We get strong and constant currents. We get gift of twinned days. Twinned days? Twinned days. Range 0 coastal. It's kind of interesting. Move it on between target land and 1 other coastal land. We can move it on from here over to here or something. But doesn't seem to be of great use. Potentially deals with the C3 Ravage. Push the town out in the slow phase, or in the next fast phase, although they're building a town and also gathering C2. So there will be 2 towns in there. This is also a nice power card to gift to river, because it's obviously really good river elements. Twinned Days, honestly, probably good to give to Towering Roots. Sun Moon isn't terrible there. Plant seems like it's kind of the bigger limiter, but we do eventually get 2 plants on there. Although on that same vein, we also get an Earth and a Sun. We don't get Moon, which is interesting, I guess, to make it harder to remove 1 invader, but to make it easier to gather things, I guess. But anyway, it's kind of a good gift for Towering Roots. Now, this growth option is from your hand or discard, so we could play the card and then on a later turn hand it over from my discard. But it can't be from my play, so if I play Gift of Twinned Days this turn, I can't gift it to someone else. In any case, Range 0 Coastal is kind of a big limitation, and it's not really good elements, although element markers kind of make a lot of this moot anyway. Range 2, can't get to board H like that. Also, can I do anything about the Ravage in C7? They're building 2 towns and also gathering a town from D7. Like, I guess it could be C8, I guess, but D7's a little better as it avoids D8 from gathering that town. but I don't really have much in the way of defending that land. Like, at all. I mean, this is my defend, but defend 3 is not good against 9. I guess it prevents the lost condition blight. But yeah, it's not that much defend. So I'm gonna probably just put my presence leftward to try to get closer to river is probably my prerogative there. C2 seems like a dangerous spot, although that town is actually moving away. But I'll just go in C2 because I'm dangerous. I have 1 energy because I went off the wrong track. My bad. I have 0 energy, but I can play 2 cards that cost 0 energy. This is fast. I guess I could stop C3 from putting a second town down by moving this town into C1, which is a bit cheeky. But it would put this in my discard, and I could later gift it to river. So maybe I do that. Preventing Dahan from destroying Fear Dahan. Maybe I don't want to do that. Top card of the Fear deck. Meh. Prepare element marker, discard element markers, gain elements, blah blah blah. Not so many good element overlaps, because I just have what? A moon, an air, and an earth. Moon and earth for roots. Mood woodlet, a removal of an explorer town. That's it. River doesn't need that many elements. Moon is slightly beneficial for repeating Creeper's Tear, but kind of a bit far away for that. I guess I just look at the top card of the Fear deck. It's something. We do gift a power card that has been granted. So we could just gift Twinned Days to Towering Roots. That's honestly fine. And then we could spend an earth to defend, but that's useless. Okay. Your turn, River. What's going on here? Build, build. H3 is building a town and gathering H2. H4 is building 2 cities and gathering H7. Or sorry, building 2 towns and gathering H7. So there's going to be 4 towns and 1 explorer dealing 9 damage. Unfortunately, we don't have massive flooding to save the day. Not that I was ever saving the day, but maybe Wash Away is really strong for H4, as that pushes 3 towns. Which still means H4 ravages, but it's less so. And maybe we have defend 2 for it for next turn. It's very easy to hit the defend. Slightly harder to hit the adjacent land with your presence effect, but... And this is a range 0 sacred site thing. This is actually an interesting place where... I think I said in previous week that it's kind of difficult to have the adjacent land as well as this land effects be beneficial to both lands, but H3 and H4, they are 2 lands that are ravaging next turn. So if I could hit that next turn, that would be nice. Main issue is it requires an earth that is taken away if I play Wash Away. Although if I do get to reclaim 1, then I guess that would be nice, except I'm not... If I want to get to defend 2, I can't really reclaim 1 anyway. There's also another issue where defend 2 is not actually enough for H3, as it's 5 damage in there. And again, we have to think about blight. If we let these 2 lands blight, that would be enough blight to avoid the escalation from happening twice. So the Dahan in H3 is kind of screwed. Trying to think if there's a way I could gather that Dahan out without putting it in a terrible place. Pretty much the only thing I could do is put it in H5 or H2. I mean, yeah, unless I put it in H4. Maybe if I put it in H5 and maybe an event card says remove Blight from a land with millions of Dahan, which is actually not that beneficial either, but... I'm going to do this growth. We're going to go up energy track to get to 2 energy. We're also going to go up card plays track to get to 2 card plays. Playing Wash Away to make H4 not be as bad. Boon of Vigor would spend energy to target another spirit. I could just target myself for 1 energy, but River's Bounty does the same thing. But also gathers the Dahan out of H3 and gives me an energy. We do have Defend 2. A decent land with my presence, Defend 2. Target land or a decent land with my presence gathers the 2 Dahan, which... not that meaningful, but it exists. Cool. So we're letting this Blight. Question mark. Could use strong and constant currents to move the Dahan out of there. Letting that Blight, I guess. Having destroyed presence isn't a bad thing. Letting this Blight. Like, we're just trying to let everything Blight. We did say this Cascade would be actually kind of beneficial, but... yeah, we're trying to let all these Blights happen so that we avoid the 2 or fewer do so again rule. Let's see. Turn top card of the Fear deck face up. During the next normal explore, skip the lowest numbered land, matching the invader card on each board. Okay. Not spending for that. Gifting to you, it would spend energy to target these, right? Right? Why is it letting me target this? It's not. Okay. It kind of looked like it was letting me because it lit up, but I think it's just lighting up because I put my cursor over the spirit. Okay. Gift to you, gift of Twined Days. I can gain an element matching that. Last game I got unlock the gates. It would kind of be funny if I were to find that again. It'd be even funnier if I had 1 element marker of each type. The practical answer is to gain a moon here, as that's the element that is most helpful to me, although barely so, actually. As I only really need moon for defend 2 per card in the invader discard, and only barely so. So I'll click Sun then. Now, if I do want to do both effects on strong currents, constant currents, I would need to gain a water here. If I want to be able to defend... well, I already have an earth. But if I want to be able to spend more for that later or something, earth would help with that. Do I care about this? We said that I could push the town out from C2 so that C3 doesn't gather it, and that would allow me to defend that next turn. But if I do want that land to Blight, I would actually want there to be... I don't really care how many towns are in there as long as this wants the name. Let's just be stupid and click fire just so I can get 1 of each element. So that if I do unlock the gates, I can use it easily. Okay. Click this, move Dahan from here. Saves those Dahan. Okay. Not doing that thing. This is not really that beneficial. I could I could gather the Dahan here, I guess. Serves no purpose as I'm going to Rivers Bounding anyway, but hey, I can do that. Gift of Proliferation. This can't target these spirits. Oh, I can see that. Okay, it's lighting up the spirits I can actually target with this. Okay, so it's only this spirit. And they can place a presence up to range 1 from their presence. I guess we will actually have a sacred site here with this. So we can let the cascade happen in D5, but also put the vitality token down in D8. Okay, and that's it. Builds. And now we are going to B first, although it wasn't easily clear. Gather from a land that's not wetlands or jungle makes sense to me. Then it was board C. Gathering it to C7, we're going to gather from D7. And then D8 doesn't have a gather. And then all of the others are forced. Sands Explorer. And they didn't explore H8 as that town from H7 was moved away. Neat. Okay. So, to avoid the cascade, or not the cascade, the terrible blight in H4, we need to wash away these towns. We could put one in H3 without that being a problem. I don't really want this to go into H7, as then H8 would gather it. But we can put it in H5. I mean, really, we kind of could just leave them where they are, I guess. Maybe that makes more sense. Play Wash Away and just move one town? Seems kind of silly. But kind of leaving the towns grouped up on one side of the board also makes a lot of sense to me. I play this power that lets me push 3 towns, and I am pushing 1 town, but we get 2 blights, but nothing else. Let's... I think our original plan was Rivers Bounty here, but I don't really care about that. Let's just do it here. I don't need to gather for that. Because eventually defend in H2 would be pretty nice, I think. Alright, green, or do I want to do this board, I guess. These are all fast powers. We have Gather, Explorer, and Dahan. We have Vitality Token. We have Blight Removal. Or just push all Explorers. If we did want this cascade to happen. So, like, this is fine. That Vitality Token means that's not a Blight. And nothing actually... Like, my presence only gets destroyed if a Blight is added. Dahan would still get destroyed, but there's no Dahan in that land, so that's fine. Can't move the Dahan out. Oh, no, I can. I can gather. Gather a Dahan, gather an Explorer. See how they are now constrained? They cannot damage or destroy. Cannot be damaged or destroyed. They can still damage the land. They just cannot be damaged themselves. kind of wish that moving this explorer out would stop that cascade, or not the cascade, stop the build, but both builds are happening or not they're not happening. They're just going to gather the town. I guess it's still fine to, oh, but this only targets mountain jungle, so I can't actually hit D4 with this. Okay. I could push an explorer out from D5, I guess, but that's not going to serve much purpose. I guess I will just push you into D6 and maybe remove you down the road or something. I don't know. We were planning on originally using this to remove the blight from D5, but it's actually more beneficial for that blight to cascade. We have Creeper's Tear that does nothing. We have a Fields Choked that pushes Dahan out of B7 to be saved. Which also seems silly, but it works. Alright, let's go river. So we're letting that blight. We're letting that blight. There will be 3 blight on this board. We are on the escalation phase, so they will add a town to a land without blight or towns. I suppose the annoying thing... Oh no, this happens after normal. Okay, so it's actually fine. I was gonna say they could still end up gathering a town in the HA because of that, but that's not true. No matter where they put the town, that happens after the build phase anyway, so it's not gonna be an issue there. It's open season as to which land they're exploring into. I want river. If I want to jump boards, I need to click growth option 3. Which is okay. We could perhaps get to 3 energy if I ignore that. And play Boon of Vigor and Flash Floods, but then have my E be 3. It's not E on here anymore, but it is 3. What would that do for me? Just defend 3. I do not have earth. I do not have animal. I do not have 2 plants. So that wouldn't really do much this turn. So I do think I want to gain a power card here. Normal river loves sun and water a lot. This river kind of prefers earth, plant, animal. There's 1 earth, there's 2 plants, there's 1 animal. They are all on different cards. Well. Bat Scout is interesting as that is damage per Dahan, and that is a lot of damage in H2 as there's 3 Dahan there. Yeah, it gives me an animal which will unlock Gathering Dahan, so I could do even more damage in H2. Even though this build is prevented, they're still gathering a town from H3, and 5 damage kills the city and a town. That's a lot of damage. We will have the energy for it, so it's not an issue. Drywood is an expensive power to deal 1 damage. I can spend 2 energy to deal 1 damage fast. I guess that's 2 fear as well, but that seems lame. Shadows of the Burning Forest, Mountain Jungle is not really that relevant. Haunted by Primal Memories. Defend is not useful this turn. So I think it's just Bat Scout. Hello, Tiers. We are playing with all the new aspects and spirit that the recent release has given us. We're also playing on a super wide board. Double archipelagos. C2, I guess, because either we're defending that or we're not defending that. My defense is easily hit. Ooh, we could defend 4 next turn. That's interesting. I guess I'm working towards that. Or do I want to work towards reclaim 1 and only have defend 2? I guess, Shifting Memory can defend C2 by himself, so, well, I mean, there will be another town in there, so it's not quite enough. But I'll work towards Reclaim 1, as I like Reclaim 1 a lot. So it's definitely Bat Scout. And then, I don't know. Flash Floats is not going to do a lot for us. Boon of Vigor could target pretty much anyone, because I have lots of energy. I'm now on this islet. You know, I'm now sufficiently bothered by this that I want to actually look up the pronunciation of islet. Oh, it is islet. Now I just want to say islet, just to be contrary. I mean, everyone made fun of me, and by everyone, I mean one YouTube commenter months and months ago, who I don't even remember, but I keep saying Badlands instead of Badlands, and that irritated that person, so I continue to say Badlands because I feel like Badlands sounds better. I mean, really, considering that everyone who has played Final Fantasy X says that the protagonist's name is Titus, even though subsequent media has revealed it's in fact pronounced Titus, but they continue to say Titus because that's how they said it when they first saw the name, I'm going to go with Islet. Because that's how I pronounced it when I first saw it, and I'm not going to let a silly thing like the correct pronunciation influence me. All right. Mentor. This is the time where we start going up the energy track so we can afford major powers. Boon of Ancient Memories. Honestly, giving that to River and letting River play 3 cards next turn seems really valuable. We could also gift River strong constant currents. We can do that for free now that River is on this islet. But we did say that was a good card for River. So this land is solved by Bat Scout. This land is probably just going to be solved by defend in some capacity. And this land isn't even building. And again, we're letting these ravage so that we do get 3 blight on a board. It is putting our blight very thin with the blight card, but I think it should be fine. Should being the operative word. Even if we get a 2 blight card, it's 8 blight on a card. That's a lot of blight. I don't think there's a reason not to just gain a power card here. I still have 2 powers that are 0 energy. Boon of Ancient Memories is 1 energy, but I don't really need to play it for River, honestly. So let's just gain a power card. And by A, I mean both. Gain 2. Or draw 2, gain 2. And Uncanny Melting is also a card that can be gifted to River. Although a little less helpful for this River because, again, the elements are interesting here because the Sun is so trivial with the starter cards, and you only need 1. And Water is, like, also very sparse. You really just need Earth, Animal, and Plant in order to have meaningful elements. That's why, like, ironically, Boon of Ancient Memories is a really good card to give to River. It gives Earth and Plant. That's so funny. Okay. We also have Lure of the Unknown. That is air. I mean, that's fine. Not as super exciting as it would be for this adversary, as they keep gathering towns, so I can't prevent builds super easily, but I could use it. This targets any land. Land without invaders. Okay. First it's land without invaders. We could use it so they don't build a town in C6. They still gather a town, but only be one town in there in the end. Unlocks the unlocks the air. So we don't care about defend this turn. We want both these lands to ravage. Do I care about target spirit? We play that power card now by paying its cost. Because I would need a lot of earth for that. Maybe I don't care about it. Then again, if I gift strong constant currents, that could be played for free, and it would grant defend. That doesn't matter, but I could grant defend. Anyway, energy track. Do I need sacred sites? Potentially. I don't want to remove blight, as I honestly need to keep 3 blight on each board, but we could play Uncanny Melting and get a fear, and then later gift that, although... Yeah, again, I mean, like, I'm excited by Sun Water, but we just established that Sun Water is a little less exciting. You do need some Sun Water, but not that many. Especially once you have, like, 5 card plays and you're almost guaranteed to hit a Sun Water card. Just put a Sacred Site here. Lure sounded okay. We're not letting Ravages happen, or we're not letting Ravages of Dahan happen. I'll just play that. There's actually a temptation here to give River a major power. Although Flash Floods is in hand. Because if I were to go up all the way to... Well... Because we said we were going to do Reclaim 1 next turn, but we could get to 4 energy instead. So you could gain a major that gives 3 energy. Or it costs 3 energy. And not forget a major power. Or we do forget a power card, because it's okay to lose a unique power, as some events give them back. Honestly, I kind of want to do that. By that, I mean go up energy track to get the 4 energy next turn. Not necessarily the other thing, but... Could also gift a power from discard or whatever and forget it. Ooh, that's another thought. Give them a power, like, whatever, strong constant currents. Or even study the invader's fears. And then forget that power instead of spending 2 energy. And then I can get, because we get +4. 5 energy. We can take a major that costs 5 energy. And play it semi-reliably. And also have these hit higher numbers. That's, ooh, I like this a lot. Let's see if it pans out. Anyway, are we doing anything about these builds? Not at all, I guess. Lure of the Unknown. Okay, that is like ish. There's still something that needs to be done there, but ish. Okay. Now for Towering Roots. This Ravage is happening, but not blighting. And this Ravage is happening and blighting and cascading, and that is okay. I am okay with that, and I am not okay with that. We are successfully on board B. They're gathering a town in D7. They are building a town and gathering a town in D4. Can we do anything about any of these things? Defend per spirit, per presence from all spirits. Doesn't help with those per se. Repeat the lowest cost power card they have in play by paying its cost again. And I can also do likewise. That requires a lot of energy that I don't seemingly have. Radiant Hallowed Grove, 2 fear of invaders are present or adjacent, and both target and 1 adjacent landing move and invader with health less than or equal to the terror level. Terror level is 1. I could use that to remove an explorer from D4, and then it's 1 less town as well. Still gathers a town from D5, but there's only 1 town there. It's an expensive power for that effect. Destroyed presence. We are getting some destroyed presence, like C7 is a destroyed presence, so we could target shifting memories with that. And that's it. We could also target green because green has 1,000,000 destroyed presences. Target spirit may add a destroyed presence. Otherwise, target spirit gains a power card. If I target green, or no, I don't have to spend an energy, but green can get on this board with this, and then it's easier for green to target things. In fact, once green is on this board, we all share an islet. Because that's how that word is pronounced. We will all share an islet. So that is definitely what I want to do. Okay, then we don't have to spend energy to target each other anymore. Do I want to gain more energy or start putting vitality at my Incarna? I suppose, actually... Yeah, I can actually use this to move my Incarna. Okay. So... repositioning on the island, you can reposition your Incarna because, in fact, your Incarna may count as a presence. Fun fact. Okay. Let's gain a power card. What do these do again? Remove, gather. We care a lot about sun and plant. Very little sun on these, as in none. Care more about plant, though. Sun is not really that meaningful into upper levels, but plant is necessary for some of the middle ones. So plant is a little more meaningful. Earth is meaningful. So rouse the trees and stones is meaningful. I don't care about defend this turn. Weep for what is lost. Would put some fear in D5, but... otherwise, it's not good elements. Gather, push, explorer, isolate target land. Ooh. Wait a minute. That means they don't gather into D4. Actually, I could target D5 with this, gather the explorer, and then they can't gather from D5 at all, although it's kind of moot as D8 also exists. What was my other card play going to be? Boon of beloved, Boon of resilient power. If I play Rouse the Trees, we do get to tier 2 of Shelter. So we do gather up to 1 Explorer. Big whoop. I guess we're either getting a Sun or an Earth as well. But not Plant. We will also be able to remove an Explorer or Town. Range 0 Sacred Site. Set them on an ever-twisting trail is interesting, but I feel like Rouse the Trees is slightly better, as while D4 might still gather a town... Well, I guess they're building still anyway, but I can kill the town. A town. One of the two towns. Which sounds kind of fun. Add vitality. Some of these are sacred site ones. So I think I want this to actually be a sacred site on B1. And I kind of want to go up energy track, as this feels more potent than this for some reason. Like, each presence on the energy track is on average 1 energy, but each presence on the card play track is on average half a card play. But I don't necessarily need more card plays, I need more powerful effects, which I could do with major powers. I guess more power cards give me more elements, allows for better innate powers. But I kind of, like, tend to play every spirit about the same, and that once I get to 2 card plays, I'm like, yep, that's enough. I mean, not quite true, but... Alright, and then green. What's happening here? Blight, blight. Buildy, buildy. Both of these are sands. Hard for green to grow in them. We do have an overgrow. We have a stem to flow. If I play both of those cards, I also get to damage a building. Energy is at a premium if I want to play both of those. So I guess I'm going up, or doing growth option 3. Which also gives me a power card. So maybe I'm not necessarily playing Overgrow. Although I feel like it's also meaningful to have a Sacred Site in B5 to prevent the Ravage there later or something. Well, let's see what this is. Devouring Ants. Aha! That solves everything. None of these have plants. Not as meaningful if I decide to take that plant, but... plant water is so meaningful for unbelievable regrowth. 3 of these do give water. 1 also gives moon, which is important for the left innate power. You can also scream disease into the wind. I just like saying that effect. Scream disease into the wind. Target land has any disease, blah, 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 or mountains, wetlands, fear, and disease. There's no disease on this board. Mountains, wetlands are not entirely relevant, though. And all that to say that Overgrow is ultimately still better, isn't it? But this could be the next turn play. +1 range with all their powers, blah, 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 blah. Slow power if Azure fast, +3 range powers targeting coastal lands, blah, 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 blah. How meaningful is Sky Stretches, actually? Is it actually meaningful? We could use that to gather and explore fast and thereby prevent the build in D4. And then my Rouse the Trees stops the D4 Ravage. Is that better than Overgrow, though? Or am I still playing Overgrow? Like, the problem is, if I want to kill a town in B5, I have to play both of these. Playing one less than that means I don't kill the town in B5. I say the town, but there's actually 2 towns in there. I don't know. I just work here, man. Yeah, I have 2 card plays. That's enough. Actually, the energy per presence on this track is so much worse. Is this where I say, oh yeah, the card play is more potent, because this is on average 1 card play, but this is on average 0.4 energy. I mean, if I go up card plays track, I can just spam growth option 3 and, like, get energy that way, right? That's another reason to not go up card plays track. Okay. Or to not go up energy track. Okay. Clear of the unknown, go into Blightland. I'm sure that's not an issue whatsoever. Oh yeah, this thing as well. We're not doing that thing. Doing a Vigor, going somewhere, and then Defend is doing something. I mean, if I give this to the Shifting Memories, that just seems wrong, considering you're gonna have 1,000,000 energy in a couple turns. Is it worth spending an energy to give it to green? I mean, giving it to Towering Roots also seems wrong, considering we just said that energy track was more potent there. Are all of these wrong? Maybe I give it to Shifting Memories, and I say you can gain a major power next turn. Maybe that's actually correct. Maybe. Defend and Gather Dawn. I think we said we wanted to gather Dawn here, didn't we? Or did we? No, we wanted to gather... Right, no, we wanted... Oh. Oh, but adjacent land. Okay, so we target this and then gather these. Okay, okay. Made that work. So now we can deal 5 damage there. That was the plan. All right. And then, we're not doing that. We're gifting River Strong and Constant Currents. You gain 1 of the elements from that. And then we gain 1 of these. I'll click this one. The reason I'm doing that is so that I can unlock the gates and use it immediately. It's possible. It's possible. And then we're not defending, and that's the last one. All right. Event card. Farmers seek the Dawn for aid. This is like the worst first event card to get, right? Some people say this should just be removed as it's too swingy. Alright, Dawn are certain, blah blah blah, spurn the invaders, teach the invaders, blah blah blah. I mean... This is actually really bad, isn't it? As I wanted these ravages to happen, but now if I do let them happen, there's going to be a lot of cascades. Ugh. Alright, so what's the worst that happens with Spurn the Invaders? On each board, add blight to land with at least 2 buildings. Yeah, that happens either to H3, H4, and then that's a cascade. Yep. It does mean that I don't really care so much about the Dahan and H2, but I mean, eh. And then same thing here. We're gonna have a blight and cascade. Same thing here. We're gonna have a blight and cascade. I guess the first we could like target D8 with that, but then this still blights off the ravage. And then here, same thing. So if I spurred the invaders, we're essentially adding 4 blight extra. Actually, 8 blight extra, right? Because it's not just the blight that we're adding now, but the blight that comes from the cascade later. So we're adding 8 blight to the island if I click Spurn. If I click Teach... See, kind of the problem with Teach. It's kind of like an escalation. An escalation now is adding town to land with the Han, but like I'm sure we would probably want to put them in lands that what's it trying to say? We're putting them in lands where they weren't ravaging anyway, so and they don't really have towns anyway, so yeah, it's kind of like an escalation per this. But furthermore, it makes more builds happen. And furthermore, the escalation happens, but happens twice because all boards have 2 or fewer blight. So we're adding like 12 towns plus 8 builds if I teach. And then like think about it, like H4 is building 2 towns, H3 is building a city. City, 2 towns, 2 towns, city, 2 towns. Or sorry, 2 towns, 2 towns. City and 2 towns. Or no, this is not a city, this is town. So what is worse? You might think the answer is straightforward, but it's not. What is worse? 8 blight or what was the final answer here? It's 2 towns, city. Why didn't this build a city? Why is there 3 towns in there? I don't know. Anyway. Let's see. 2 towns, city. City, 2 towns. 2 towns, 2 towns. So that's 2 cities and 8 towns. 1 town, 2 towns. So 11 towns, 2 cities, plus 16 towns. So 27 towns and 2 cities. So what is worse, 8 blight or 27? I don't even remember the number. Oh my god. Yeah, I guess does it actually turn off escalation completely? Because we did say every board was getting 2 extra blight, didn't we? Which actually means that we are past the threshold for 4 fewer blight. So it does turn off escalation completely. Does flip the blight card. Probably destroys a river presence. Probably destroys more than that. I mean, I think like this board is fine. We can cascade places. The only way to actually have 5 blight on this board is to cascade out of D twice. There is, I guess I can cascade into B8. Okay, and then if we do that, disease to land with both Dahan and invaders, do 2 damage to Dahan there. Guess that means that B3 is quote unquote not building. D7? No, there's invaders. I guess we can put the disease in D5. That Dahan was dead anyway. Haha. Okay, so Spurn. 2 damage to Dahan and a land with buildings and Dahan. So that's a forced decision. That's forced. I think we said this was actually... I guess we have 2 different lands here that are going to end up getting damaged. Probably better to do the disease in D5, spread it out, maybe. I don't know. And nothing there. Okay, so then it's just order of operations at that point. Then blight there. Blight here. Blight here. Blight here. Then that was forced. This one isn't forced. I think I want to try to keep Dahan there, though. Oh, wait, hold on. No, hold on. That part is not forced. Because it's half the board's rounding up. So I could choose this optionally, because this one is actually valuable. And this one, not really valuable, but that Dahan was dead anyway, so might as well kill it off, right? Alright, now Island is blighting. So probably better to flip the blight card before we destroy presence, in case the blight card says immediately destroy presence. I know we don't have the one that says destroy 3 presence, but there's still one that says immediately destroy a presence and a beast or something like that. Is there? I feel like there is. Could also say destroy a city and a town or something. In any case, I say we do the not cascades first. Well, I guess I can't. I can only do 3 of them because one of them doesn't actually happen. And now I vote for this one. Alright, island is blighted. Slow dissolution of will. Immediately, each spirit chooses one of Badlands, beasts, or wilds. Each invader phase, each spirit replaces one presence with their chosen type of spirit token. The presence goes to the destroyed supply. 3 blight per starting board. Huh. Sorry, I'm just like thinking. I'm just thinking here. Each invader phase, each spirit replaces presence with their chosen type of spirit token. So we're not going to profit presence anymore if we're only placing 1 presence per turn. But we do have green here that puts destroyed presence out super easily. Can't really help other spirits as well. Badlands seems like the correct choice for green, as a lot of his effects are just 1 damage. Badlands might not be correct for River, as River likes to defend and wants Dahan to counterattack, and Badlands hurts Dahan. None of these spirits super care about beasts directly, but they do benefit from event cards. Wilds doesn't seem super helpful when after the normal build they gather a town anyway. So oh, and we have to choose this. We don't choose the order is chosen for us. Okay. Which spear is it? I don't even know. So I think it's this one. It's not green. I guess since you have defend, you don't want Badlands anyway, so you're taking beasts. Is this one's not green, is it? Ah, it's now it's now one of your special rules. Special rule: slow dissolution of will. Oh my god. Okay. No, this is roots. This is definitely roots, right? Like, this is not a green icon. I mean, Badlands doesn't hurt the Dawn in your land, at least, because, or the Incarnal land, because Incarnal land doesn't... I guess invaders can't be damaged in Incarnal land anyway. So. But you don't have, like, direct damage, right? You do have a thing that says wilds, which is wild, but I think I'm just gonna click beasts here. Badlands for green, beasts for river. Okay. The only spirit that's putting Badlands is green. Alright, we could skip this build. I will allow it because skipping the Ravage is more meaningful. Although, as pointed out, we could just kill the towns with Stem to Flow super easily, as they're only 1 HP towns. Let's take it out of not wetland, as it's harder for me to block things in not wetland or jungle. Gathering into C6. Guess I'll just take that one. I don't know. And to D7. Let's take the town that's in the diseased, super blighted mountain. Hey, there's no escalation because it's coastal. Haha. Haha, coastal. We only have 2 fear so far. Oh my god, our fear game sucks. Alright, let's do the things we said we are going to do. Bat Scout. Stem the Flow. Uh-huh. I can kill both towns in here now? Nice. Destroyed presence. All right. River has destroyed presence. Is it weird I want to give River both of these things? Is it weird? I guess I could give Mentor one of these things. Target spirit gains a power card, but actually gains 2 power cards from 2. This is also kind of a nice way of getting destroyed presence from other spirits on the board, although I guess it could target yourself as well, so that's also interesting. Creeper's Tear also exists. I can hit that one. Okay. We have 10 fear. Well, my fear game's getting a lot better. We just quintupled my fear in like 2 seconds. The reason I was thinking of doing river with this as well as this is that I could gain the major after gaining the minor and instead forget the minor. Although we could forget like wash away. In the spirit of forgetting unique powers. I think we said we could forget strong constant currents though, but destroy presence to one of your lands. I guess if Towering Roots is in a wetland, it would actually make sense for River to do that. Actually, yeah, look at that. We're in this land. All right, River, put your destroy presence there to make a sacred site out of frickin' nowhere. And this could be major, but it's better to take major from Boon of Ancient Memories in case I want to spend energy. Uh-huh. This has plants and animal, which is 2 of the 3 that we care a lot about. Plant is one we especially need a lot of. I guess I click that one. Do I care about the others at all? This is Fear. I'm gonna click Call Attend though, and then Boon of Ancient Memories, gain a major. Mm-hmm. Gather up to 3 Dahan, remove up to 3 health worth of invaders per Dahan. This power can target lands with Blight. If Dahan are present, remove a Blight from target land. Then remove Explorer, Town, and City from a land within range 1 of target land. Now I kind of wish I was going up Cartplace track. I guess I can. Although the major difficulty there is I can't get 3 sun and 3 water, but maybe we actually use elemental teachings? Maybe? It's clearly this. I'm gonna forget a power as that is kind of expensive. But I like the idea of being able to play it next turn, although if I do go up to Cartplace track, I can't afford to play it either, but no, maybe I can. Maybe. Inspire, Call to 10, Strong Constant Currents gives me 2 sun, 3 water, 2 animal. I just need a sun from Mentor. From Shifting Memory. I'm calling it Mentor just because it sounds like a better title. Alright, this only targets... Oh, it can target my Sacred Site. This only targets this. Sacred Site... do I have any considerations for the P3 Ravage? No, none at all. The C2 Ravage, the H2 Ravage, anything? No, none of these things. Ooh, we also have Sky Stretches. Doing this in the fast phase? I mean, the thing is, there's not really lands with Blade that I would really want to target with this, I guess, sort of. Wait, so this gathers how many? 3? Theoretically, we can use that to remove a city, town, and explorer from C2. Not that that was really my issue, but I could. Let's just do that, and maybe D1 doesn't build or something. I don't know. It doesn't really matter. It's slope gathering, so builds happen anyway. All right, start with river. Get to 3 card plays. So putting a sacred site here, putting a sacred site here seems viable. Then play these. We need 1 more sun, and we have the threshold on that. I mean, I don't know that I care about the threshold on that, but we also get defend 2, blah, 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 blah. I mean, maybe if I don't care about the threshold, I care about the energy, so maybe I do want to get to 4 card plays, so we'll table that for a second. I don't know that doing this fast either makes sense. Might be more valuable to do it slow, honestly. Maybe I do Call to a Sunlit Haven slow. Anyway. Shifting memory. Could gain major. It's possible we get one that's like, I think the average cost is like 3-ish. So let's click major. We get Talons of Lightning and Unearth the Beast of Wrathful Stone. Excellent. These cost more than 4. Okay. Goodbye, Study the Invader Sphere. Might need to defend C2 or something. I don't know. Sacred sites are at a premium. Do we care about sacred sites? Not really. I guess these are sacred sites. I mean, I could play these, and that gives me the defend threshold without needing to spend tokens, which is valuable. How about you? Sands Ravage. This is the issue right here. Potentially just put a presence there, and then we can defend 2, and it's easy. We're definitely not at good tear level right now. But we're getting the 4 energy. Am I actually gonna just gain a major here as well? Add more vitality to D6. Ooh. Target spirit may remove up to 3 presents from anywhere on the island. This is actually really easy to almost hit. Removing 3 presents from anywhere on the island is kind of difficult when you consider the fact that we're always losing presents every round. I don't know, maybe green does this and then could put the destroyed presents like back almost immediately. This requires a fire from shifting memory, so elemental teachings is kind of necessary, which is fine. We can do that. Forget a unique. I don't want to forget the one that's destroyed presence. I don't want to forget the one that's vitality token. Maybe it's this one because it's like expensive for what's effectively a removed town at best. If it can remove a city, we've already won the game probably. This doesn't matter. And then this is a sacred site one. That's not a sacred site one. We were replacing one of our things, but we'll Let's put Sacred Sight there. Alright, and then Transformative Sacrifice. Why did I say I could almost hit that? Did I forget the power that lets me almost hit that? Am I stupid? Yes, I forgot the power that let me almost do that. Because I definitely need to play both and gain a fire to do that, so I can't forget that one. Song of Sanctity. Thank you. Gather Tahan, gather Explorer, remove Explorer Town. Okay, what about you, Green? What you got? Major power? Major power? Major power turn? We need something for B3. I mean, if you play Sky Stretches on yourself, and Transformative Sacrifice allows you to put 3 Destroyed Presence targeting any terrain, maybe, then you could prevent the Ravage in B3 very easily. But I will gain a major because I am feisty. Dream of the Untouched Land. Is this the game where I went on a board that didn't exist? Hmm. I mean, that's really good elements for green. I will not be able to play both of my powers, but it's a really good elements for green. Let's forget Overgrow because it's the only thing that lets me grow to sands and mountains very easily. Let's forget it. What could possibly go wrong? Am I gonna play Dream of the Untouched Land and hope that I play 2 moon, 1 water, 2 earth, and 1 plant out of the 4 power cards I'm getting? Is that silly? You're not sure I can actually get Threshold to cast down 4 times without winning long before, but Dream is fun anyway. Challenge accepted. Hey, we're almost at our first fear card. You never know. Green's not actually on this board, is he? Why do I think he was? Let's take a plant just... Oh, and this is range 2. Oh, but I don't actually have range 2. Okay. Alright, YOLO. So the thing that's the most useful to know is what Transformative Sacrifice is giving me, which means that we need to get you that threshold, which just requires 1 fire. Do we want anything else before we do that? A sun and a plant gets me this and this, so sun plant is very valuable. You have to prepare a plant and then give sun, plant, fire. So now you have that threshold. You can do this the second time. You can gather a town. Okay. Then Transformative Sacrifice on green. From anywhere on the island. Well, you're only on this island. Probably just remove that, remove that, remove that. And that. You get treacherous waterways, purifying flame, absorb corruption, visions of fiery doom. Did we do it? No. Unfortunate. We do, however, have 2 destroyed presents put back and a 2 damage thingy. We also can't solve this, can we? Maybe. No, I don't have range. I can't hit that. Did I remove the Sacred Slide? I had range, and then I proceeded to remove that presence. Okay, well, we had a solution, and I screwed it up. Oh, well. Now what? I may do both. Neat. This is defend 2. Wasn't I gonna defend 4? Oh, right. No, that was what I was thinking of doing, and then I didn't do it because I forgot to go back and decide that. Okay. I was so excited about this plan, I forgot about my alternate river plan. Defend 3, defend 2. That's not a sacred site. I can't target it. Crap. I can't target it. I have to go here first. And this is in target land. Not super exciting. Mm-hmm. I guess I can remove everything from there. For fun, I guess. I don't know. Do I want to do that? I don't really want to remove Blade, don't I? Hold on. 5 Blade is very important because it means we don't get escalations. I should ignore the remove Blight clause and focus on the remove health worth of invaders clause. Although there's not very meaningful health removal of invaders happening anyway, but details. Another spirit. Wait a second. Wait a second. Wait a second. What do we need? Moon? Aha! Gift you Lure of the Unknown and play it immediately. Aha! We found solution. Alright. I have to spend an energy. That's okay. Spend air. Gift you that. Play it. I get an element. And an element. Whatever. Okay, we did it. Up to 2 presents from any spirits. Alright, well, I have to put this board over here so it's even longer. It's kind of silly, but preventing this build is probably more meaningful than anything else. I want this to be here. Like that. There. I've made this... Wait a minute. Wait a minute, what? No? What? I broke the game somehow? That's not how this was configured. Hold on. Why would you do such a thing? Why would you do such a thing? Hold on. Let's go stare in this direction. Oh man, the best part is that we're seeing sides of the towns and cities and explorers that you have never seen before. Oh my god. It's so cute. I am gonna submit feedback. Oh, you're opening that because I disabled Steam overlay. Oh. So I can't actually submit bug right now. Can I? If you saw a bug, please mention that and describe it here briefly. I played this thing. I played Dream of the Untouched Land. And made a super wide board, and the game decided to consolidate boards in a way incongruent to how they were originally laid out, looking very weird. Now I need to talk to someone. Skip this step. Thanks for signing us in. We'll get back to you in 24 to 48 hours for follow-up. Well, I don't know if that actually attached my game files, but whatever. I can at least link the video if they want it. Okay. Back to this. Add 2 beasts, 2 wilds, 2 badlands, and 2 presents anywhere on it. Well, it's kind of hard to avoid it from exploring in this direction, but we could kind of taper the exploring from this side, I guess. Oh, but this is beasts, not wilds. Hold on. Let's go back again. Put the beasts there, put the wilds there. Badlands can go with beasts. And who wants this presence? Ooh, reclaim 1 on river's tempting. Although we already could do that without this. Does the plant do something here? Oh, it lets me remove 1 invader. Very difficult when it's just where my Incarna is. I'm probably just gonna do river, go up energy track. We already did this effect. Probably shouldn't have. Presence on A5. Actually, if I put a presence from you, then we have an islet where everyone shares the thing. So I'm gonna put you on this one. I don't know if you care where you are. Let's put you A4. Okay. Cool. So now, from now on, build cards and each board, each land, adversary actions, skip 1 board. Well, okay, so on each And each land skips one board, so you can actually skip gathers. uh, on each board is escalation as well, but you could kind of skip it on board A by selecting the other 3 boards. Push explore towns when adjacent coastal land with 2 to the Han between any coastal lands. Man, this is just so funny. They're like looking the wrong way. Oh my god. I guess pushing one explorer out from here means this doesn't blight, which is also an issue we've had. There's also this. There's also this. Lure of the Unknown also exists. Let's see. So this both push and move. Push this guy to an adjacent coastal land. Go to that one. I'm sure it's not going to be an issue whatsoever. The Han movement. I would say fear card, trust fall, except the fear card does not help us. I'm just gonna put you there. Destroy 2 fewer? Considering we didn't actually find anything that solved that. Lure of the Unknown. We do actually have range to... I think it's still targeting right? It just looks weird. Okay, so we still have range to here. But it's not really helpful to gather to this land, as that would then build. So... gather a town out of B3, and maybe the event card says defend 1 and lands with Dahan. That's like the only thing we can really rely on. Fear and pushing things at range 0. I mean, honestly, I just want the fear. I don't really push things anywhere else from my lands. I don't want to keep them in my lands. Wilds or push and explore mountain wetland. Actually, let's put a wilds, I guess. All right, now we're replacing presents with things. Beasts. You don't have many presents, do you? Let's replace this guy because you might die anyway, and then replace with beasts. Let's do it in this land. Maybe I need to be careful because I would like to... Nah, I don't want to gather to that land, actually. Badlands for green. Reverse Tear already does enough damage to that one land, but I'm not in that land if I remove that presence, though. Screw it. Let's try that one. Rivers Destruction for a beasts. I say remove that one as it might die anyway. Alright. Temporary truce. In lands with Dahan, 1 Dahan and 1 building do not participate in ravages. They neither take nor deal damage. It's actually okay. Priana Heedless in each land with beasts, 1 damage per beasts. There we go. Speak of the Spirit's Anger for each board. 1 fear if any Dahan are in lands with buildings. So this means this isn't blighting because the town's not participating. Whatever. Damage per beasts. in each land with beasts. So just choose for me. I would say kill the town, but then the city doesn't participate. I'd rather the town not participate. 1 damage. 1 damage. Fear if we need to hunt our lands with buildings. During the next normal explore, blah, blah, blah. Yay. Okay. Ignore this town. Blight. Blight. Oh, the Dahan did not participate? Okay. That's why it survived. Click a board to skip it for the Coastal Lands build card. Well, obviously board A would like to have happen as there's no build there. Board D is actually surprisingly nice as there's only 1 gather into D1. So I'd like that to happen. I guess Inspire the Release can really hit C2 really hard, so maybe we do that one. We don't have the threshold, but still does quite a bit in there. So maybe I want C to happen. B's probably better to skip than H. We could also skip the Habsburg rule separately from the build. That's fascinating. So we said, I mean, my logic for board D was that we don't gather into D1, or we do gather only 1 gather into D1. That actually might be valid to skip though, because it means we don't worry about D3 or D1. Whereas like everywhere else, I guess this gathers into C1. H4 gathers into H3. It's very, very small. B4 gathers into B1. So like either ravages B1 or ravages D1. But B1 is easier to defend as River's there. D1 is harder to defend. Yeah, so I think I click D. Why did it... Why is it constantly asking me this? Wait, hold on. Click a board to skip it for the Coastal Lands build. We said B? So is it now saying B1 we're going to gather, am I going to skip board B? B2 we're going to gather, am I going to skip it? Wait, I didn't mean to click that many times. I think this is a bug. Unfortunately, I can't undo because I clicked too fast. But I think we just skipped every single Habsburg gather. which is definitely not intended. After the normal build step, in each land matching a build card, gather one town from a land not matching a build card. Okay. But from now on, each board, each land, adversary actions skip one board. It asked me a million times if I wanted to consider a board to be skipped. And I clicked B a lot. But actually, why didn't it gather C6 and the C1 for that matter? This seems like an even worse bug. Well, now this game's gonna have an asterisk victory if we win. There's only 3 blight left on the card, by the way. Yikes. This is the escalation. Skip that one. Okay, that works fine. It doesn't really matter, but yeah. Well then, I want to target this one. Might want to try to get more things in there, I guess, but yeah. Just want to see if there's any blight I could remove, but I don't think there is. Coastal lands ravaged, though? Do I need to be wary of this? Well, I can't pay energy to remove blight. I can unbelievably regrow and then deal 3 damage to a building. I don't see why I wouldn't just do B2 with this. Could also make this not ravage. Actually, I could already let it not ravage. Maybe I want to let this not be an issue. Okay. Gather blight into B2. The mountains H3 and C3 are certainly problematic. I don't know that I can really do anything about those. But I certainly need to stop a number of them from ravaging, otherwise we just lose. So I could reclaim Inspire, the release of stolen lands, and play it in the fast phase, I guess. Does that do anything productive? No. Especially because those target lands without blight. Is it correct that if there's 5 blight on each of these boards that I have 3 blight left on this card? 5, 10, 15, 20. Minus the 9 is 11. There was 12 per starting board, so... I feel like I'm missing a blight. Ah, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There's 6 blight on this board, so I could remove a blight from board D and not have this escalate. Kind of can't do it, but I can. Or that would be a target if I could. Push 3 to hunt. Is there a world where this is defended? Perhaps. I'm going to be optimistic. We do have this. We have this too, I guess. But market. Marked beasts can't leave the island. Should I try to play this every single turn? Sounds interesting. Could certainly try. Can I threshold this every turn? I could certainly try. Putting 2 presence down, getting to 4 energy and reclaim 1, putting a presence in one of these terrible lands and defending it there seems worthwhile. So like I would need to be in this land, but I also need to have a sacred site next to that land. Oh, that's problematic. So I can't actually do this into C3. Can I do that into H3? Even if I could, it's not going to be enough to defend, right? Even if it's 4. I mean, I guess I could remove 4 health worth of invaders. And flash floods? And then it would actually just be enough? Holy crap. Okay. Assuming I can do that. No, I can't do that because I don't have enough plants. Unless... Well, the only way that works is if I get elemental teachings, which requires me to reclaim all. If you slow to fast, River. Sky Stretches is officially called slow to fast. I like that. I like that lore. I like it a lot. Alright, but bear with me on this. I get cast down. I take major power, I get cast down. There's only like a 2 in 64 chance I get cast down. Nah, I probably have to click minor here because Talons does do a bit. I think we could potentially do Talons in H3. I think... Well, I don't know. You could certainly defend C3 somewhat easily enough. I mean, I'm assuming I can. Maybe that's a bold assumption. But assuming I defend 3 in there, Talons does do enough for C3. Ignoring C1. Ignore C1. Actually, pretty much ignore all the problem lands, but I can solve this one in particular, which is enough. How enough? Not very enough, but all right. If I place 2 presents, then I reclaim 1. I would like to be able to get Dahan in H3, but like defend 4, but only 2 damage is not enough, right? Because that's 3, 5, 6, 7, 8. Defend 4. Yeah, so I would need more for H3. Unless we somehow used Gifted Twined Days. It seems unlikely considering I can only repeat the lowest cost power. But what if the lowest cost power is Flash Floods? What if I only play Flash Floods? It's still not enough, is the problem. Because I would still be over by 1. Alright, well, board B, we're not worried about because it can block this Ravage, and then that one's not plating pending the event. This one is just C1, assuming we solve C3 in the manner indicated. D2 is happening on this board, and I do not have a solution for that. Well, that said, Entwine the Fates is defend 2 from all spirits, so it could solve D2. Maybe. Kind of would need to have more than just a singular presence there, but it is a thing that I can do. Okay. We can also do that anywhere, but D2 is probably the most important for that. I guess hitting River with H3 is also valuable because it defends H3 better than I was trying to. At that point, I might as well get an animal and gather 2 Dahan in there so that they can do things. I mean, honestly, River's Bounty isn't a terrible thing. Although River's Bounty itself gathers Dahan, and I could do that slow to fast. This would be noticeably harder if the adversary did the thing it was supposed to do. If it actually gathered towns as it was supposed to. Can I just click Major again on green? Like, 5 energy is a lot of energy. And you have a lot of power cards. Just click Major on green. Let's do it. Those are noticeably not cast down, just so we're aware. Ravaged Undergrowth is interesting as that is synergistic elements. Don't have enough waters, but I mean, it's synergistic. Infinite Vitality also is a thing that prevents Blight. Would kind of be nice to have that on a board that's not B. Kind of tempted to just click Ravaged Undergrowth. just because it's synergistic. It's not really that synergistic, that said. It just lets me put Destroyed Presence down. But, I mean, hey, Destroyed Presence is Destroyed Presence. I'm gonna ditch this one, because I have another power that removes Blight now. And I really need to get to board D. If we don't have a solution for D2, then I will never have a solution for D2. I guess Sky Stretches hits D2. And it is a board where removing a Blight is okay. And 3 damage solves that Ravage. So I can safely put this Presence here. I do have range because B2 is a sacred site. Okay, cool. I'm weirdly short of plant. Why? Why am I short of plant? What did I do to deserve this? 1 plant would be so great. I could do Gift Twinned Days to Sky Stretch's 2 spirits. That's interesting, actually. I could put Defend 4 in D2. Oh, but we're solving D2. Okay. This is solved. Congrats. This is solved. Congrats. This is solved. Congrats. That is not solved. Eh? Oh, actually, right. Entwine on River solved that. Okay, so that's solved. Now that I don't need to actually entwine for D2. Okay. C2 is solved with Talons of Lightning plus Defend. Which is kind of an argument to take a minor power, as this is very expensive and I'm only getting to 4. So I'm only getting 1 additional energy. So let's take minor. We get 2 powers. Here there be monsters. Dire Metamorphosis. Honestly, I am happy with those elements. Here there be monsters is inland. Dire Metamorphosis. Ah, yes, the one of everything. Imagine if I had the power card that said Blight cannot be added. Then this is ridiculous. Well, anyway. I don't need the threshold on Talons. This is presence at range 2. So I would say let's venture onto this board. Actually, let's put it in H3 so I can put more defend there very easily. We're doing this one, and I would like an earth, and then defend 3 is easy to hit, because Talons of Lightning does 5 damage. I don't even need defend 3, I just need some defend, but whatever. I have defend 2 for free, right? No, I don't. Whatever, I have things. It's cool. I can also put something somewhere. So, is there another spirit that would prefer Unearth a Beast of Wrathful Stone? Not really. River would be okay with it, but River's energy is not good right now. After having played the super energy power, which was only 4 energy, but still super. We still haven't figured out what River's doing, I guess. I think I like the plan of putting Dahan in H3, and the kind of the best way to do that is make that a sacred site so I can defend there and reclaim River's bounty. We do get this, but we also get this fast. Assuming I'm repeating Sky Stretches or something. I don't know. We still need to figure out this spirit, huh? Okay. We can empower our Incarna. Add empowered Incarna. Skip all build actions. Which is very useful in D6. Except not really. But let's just do this. I'm going to gain minor? No? Major? I mean, I'm playing both these powers this turn anyway. Let's gain a minor just so that I have energy for next turn, I guess. I don't know. I don't know what I'm doing at this point. I've kind of lost track of the plot. Earth, moon, plant or something. Can't really get all of those things. Sun, earth, okay. Sure. Call to ferocity. I'm just kind of at the point where I'm clicking on things just because it's empowered. Just because I want to get the show rolling. I kind of have to go to bed in 2 hours. That's kind of where I'm at. I have to work early tomorrow. I don't know why I gave myself a 4-spirit game right before I have to go to bed early, but if only I paid attention to what I was doing, then I wouldn't be in this predicament. Okay. Everyone's played cards. I can prepare an element marker. Right. Sun. Okay. Sky stretches. Give 20 days. Who wanted this, actually? I thought... Oh, I could do it... Right, I need it on myself. Right, okay. So this... Push that wilds. Oh. Okay. That land. We're also going to Rivers Bounded here. That's the whole reason I did that. Sunlit Haven, I guess. Do I even need that, to be honest? That's defense 6, 3, 5, 7, 8, 9, 10. Actually, no, I do need all that defend. Okay, that mathed out perfectly. I also have a Flash Floods. Hey! We solved this land. Yay! We did it! Then we do this thing. And then we do this thing. I don't need to repeat. There's 2 blight. Where's the other blight? Oh, H1. Huh. Okay, well, that exists. I guess I can solve C1 or H1, but not both. Okay. Could H1 have been solved if I had done Sunlit Haven there instead? I don't think so. He said it was tight for that one. Okay. What am I gifting? Uncanny Melting to Lightning, and then you don't have to reclaim all? Interesting. I mean, it's not actually super great to hand that over to Lightning, honestly. Boon of Ancient Memories on Lightning, after all? Oh, we repeat Fates of All on H3. Okay, so Haven, we have to undo. It's already done. Even here. I don't have presence in H1. I can't Haven that. Although I could have. Oh, do I need to actually go back to the growth? Although defend 8 is not enough. Hey, all right, whatever. We're destroying a we're getting a blight. It's fine. We have enough to spare. We get to do this all over again. Yay. Repeating it on B2 is like slightly better than not repeating it on B2, I guess. Alright, who wants power card? Still haven't solved that problem. Boon of Ancient Memories on Lightning. Or, not Lightning, River. That one. That one. Alright, we're again ready for thingy. Unlock the gates. You will take a major power next turn and maybe unlock the gates. Maybe. I don't know. I'm not getting much energy next turn. I guess I could just do growth option 3, but that doesn't give me a power card anyway. We needed this here. Don't gather there though. Whatever. Alright. Beasts? Don't need this presence, honestly. That beasts cannot be destroyed. Badlands. We don't have a slow phase for you this turn. There. And then beasts. Don't need that sacred site anymore. Urbanization. Each land with at least 2 towns. Replace half the towns with cities. Stricken. Invaders do not ravage and lands with disease strife. Retreat on each board. Push 2 Dahan from a land with cities. Land without city. Why? Why are you doing this to me? In each. So it's forced. It's also going to put inland cities. Because while we can't build inland cities, we can convert to inland cities. Why? Why are you doing this to me? Why? Each player chooses a different land with Dahan and each 1 damage. That'll show him. A different land with Dahan. I will do 1 damage to the city so that the Dahan kills it. Neat. Can't target the same land. Those don't have anything. Assert dominance there. Pretty much every other land is just like useless. Whatever. Thank you for your card for existing. Mountains build. Click a board to skip it for mountains build. They all suck. I mean, board D has disease. I mean, they're not even building there anyway, but C's fine. H is annoying. Probably just skip H though. Because assuming that green can help with these lands, which is a bold assertion, and then skip the escalation on this board. I click here, and then none of these buttons work, I guess. It's just all bugged. No, it did gather. Wait, it did gather. I don't know what's happening. Alright, adversary thing. Skip that one. I don't know why it asks me 15 times what board to skip for the migratory herders, but not for anything else. Also, we got a special blight. I didn't even notice it. Alright, dire metamorphosis. Shelter under towering branches. I guess I can't target this land anymore. Whoops. What's the worst that happens if I gather here? Bad things? Very bad things? I don't even know. This game feels very far from one. I'm kind of tempted to just say to be continued and pick up next week. Have we ever had a to be continued on a live stream? This has been going for almost 3 hours. I kind of want to come back to this with a fresh brain. Maybe I'll do a second stream this week. What about that? What if I were to just stream a second time this week? I'm allowed to do that, aren't I? Things that you didn't know were possible. I might have to move my stream anyway, because I don't know that I'll be able to keep doing this when I work Mondays and Tuesdays now, by the way. What about second stream? Alright, I'll tell you what. Thursday is a much better day for me to pick this up. Let's say we will save the game here, because I can resume this game at any moment. I'm just not allowed to play Spirit Island in between, but I'll let you know I don't really do that anyway. Shock. But we'll come back to this Thursday at 6. I'll put a message to Krista and the other Handelabras that we will have a special bonus stream on Thursday to wrap up this game. This game could end in 5 minutes, it could end in 2 hours. I'm not sure which. But I do know that I'm looking at the clock and I'm thinking to myself, I don't know that I want to finish this game tonight and then have to go straight to bed. Not after I worked all day, came home, and then started streaming. And I'm probably likely to move this stream to Thursdays, assuming my current schedule holds out for the time being, just because it's easier for me to stream on the days that I'm not working, and that's the only weekday that I'm not working at the moment. But details. We'll just pick this up on Thursday. To be continued. Until then, see ya.